Hello, welcome to this week's hashtag Toe to Toe. I'm delighted to say, as always, we're joined by Spencer Fearon and Ted Cheeseman this week. Yeah. But it's a tired Spencer. You're feeling a little bit tired, aren't you?
I'm a little bit lethargic. It's been a little while. You guys missed me. Yeah, I've been away for a couple of weeks, but yeah, I'm getting back into the groove of things. Don't worry. I'm even more so because I'm seeing my beautiful sister. So I'm good. I'm good.
We'll get those energy levels up.
Right.
Good. Ted, 7 weeks out from your fight with Asinia Byfield at the Copper Box, 27th of October for the vacant British title. How are you feeling? How's it all going?
Training camp's going really well. I've been sparring the last couple of weeks already, so I'm feeling really fit already. And I can't wait for the 27th to come round. It's going to be late on the bill. Everyone's going to get to see me perform. I'm going to win the British title, and then I've got some big fights to come.
Is that a little bit more pressure, though?
Nah, I like pressure. That's the main thing. When there ain't pressure on a fight and I'm not in a big fight, I get bored of it and I don't have as much thing to train hard. But when I've got a fight coming up and I know that there's more pressure on me, I perform under pressure.
Is it more pressure because it's the British title and I know how much it means to you? I mean, I know your granddad. Yeah. I know your rest of your family. Is that more pressure?
Yeah, it's not because of that. It's more because what comes after it. Do you get what I mean? It's like you're always looking ahead, but you got to try and not look ahead. Do you get what I mean? So I'm obviously focused on this fight, but I know if I win this fight, I've got big things to come and a big 2019 to come.
What have you been working on differently to your fight in June against Paul Upton?
Since I turned pro with Tony, the last couple of years as an amateur, my coach was like ill at certain times and stuff, so I never had a lot of one-on-one thing. I worked hard a lot of stuff on myself. I went sparring a lot of stuff with one of my other coaches, and it weren't the same as when I was a younger amateur. So certain things that I worked on weren't getting worked on. But now I've got Tony there one-on-one a lot of the time when I'm training. Like he's training me. He picks up on my mistakes, and I've worked on a lot of the things. And like I was speaking to Spencer earlier, a lot of people ain't seen me actually box. It's more always fighting. And now when I'm sparring and stuff, I'm boxing a lot more because obviously I've been working on it with someone who's working with stuff with me. So a lot of my mistakes and faults that are just from laziness and not having someone pushing me, they're all coming together now. And I think after I've been pro 3 years in September, and a lot of stuff's got a lot better, and I've come on so much as a fighter already.
Cool. Okay, should we get into this?
Yep.
Let's do it. Right, the first tweet is from Gaza Rich. He says, apart from the upcoming fight with Byfield, who does Ted see as his biggest domestic rivals, and which world title belt does he want to go for, Ted?
To be honest, I ain't fussy. I'll take any world I'll take any world title right now. And
if you could have your pick, though, who?
Fight, like domestically, I want to fight Fowler, but as a world title, my favourite belt's always been the WBC, the green belt. So.
Right. So, like, you and Fowler, why is it so? Because it's like, I don't know if you've got to be in a bonnet about him or anything, but you call his name out quite regularly. What do you see in him?
He's had the Olympic thing and the Olympic come up, and he's made out to be a lot better fighter than what he actually is. And
so you don't think he's a good fighter?
No, Fowler's a good fighter, but he's not a light middle, he's a middleweight. And I think once you see him come in a proper fight with someone like me, once he's had a tough 3 or 4 rounds, you'll see it change. He won't be the same fighter. He won't be able to stick in there. And if I was to fight him, I'd get him out 6, 7, 8 rounds. You get what I mean? I know I'd get him out of there, and it'll just be purely because he's trying to make the wrong way, and he's so stiff. He's easy to hit. Do you get what I mean? And like if you see in his last fight, he's getting hit so much, and the fighter got confidence and left his hands low and got knocked out. But when you fight someone like me who can punch as well, if you keep getting hit like that, the fight's gonna finish. Do you get what I mean?
So, do you see this fight happening soon?
I hope so. Well, hopefully he gets through the Asinia Byfield fight victorious, and I'm going to turn around and say he's not going to come through victorious, and then hopefully they can meet. Fowler is a very, very good fighter. I rate him. He's come from good amateur pedigree. Recently sparring with one of my South London guys in John Harden yesterday, who's being trained now by Leo McKenzie. So he's crossing all the ticks. He's ticking all the boxes now. So you know what I mean. And that would be a great fight because you're going to have two. By the time you guys fight, two unbeaten prospects, and that's the way it should go. And you're talking about him not being a light middleweight, being a middleweight. A lot of people say that about you, Ted. Look at the size of you. You're quite big, you know, my friend.
Yeah, I know, I'm big, but obviously what you got to remember is Fowler went on the GB squad from about 19, 20, and he's been boxing at 75 kilo for the last 3, 4, 5 years. You know what I mean? To then come down to box at 69.8 is a lot of weight. You know what I mean? When you're a fully grown man. Do you know what I mean? And people don't realise because you got a day once you weigh in, it don't make a lot of difference to when you weigh in on the day. You know what I mean? You energise yourself a bit more, but once you've killed yourself that much, it's a 12-round fight. People don't realise when you turn pro, you think it's all right killing yourself to make weight 4, 6, 8 rounds. I thought I was going to be a welterweight. I made 10-10 2 or 3 times, and then I thought there's no way in a million years I'll get the last £3 off. So then I realised I had to do light middle. But once you get to the hard fight and he does 8-10 rounds, hopefully, sounds like he's going to fight Scott Fitzgerald. If he comes through that, he'll see once he gets to 4 or 5 rounds that a lot of his energy will be sapped just through where he's dead on the weight. Do you know what I mean?
So it's a case of watch this space, right?
Yeah.
Thomas Lyon says, who's the best light middle on the planet at the minute, do you think? Jamie Munguia, Jarrett Hurd or Jamel Charlo, based on their last performance?
I would say Jarrett Hurd, because I think he's really big for the weight and he's really rough and tough and he can box, he can fight. And I think he's coming up there and he wants to fight everyone, do you know what I mean? He don't care who he fights. And that's what I like about fighters who don't really matter who they fight. They want to be the best, But I also do think Jamel Charlo is really good. But Hurd is just coming through and I like the look of him. But I think Jamie Munger is the weakest out of the bunch. And to be honest, I'd love a little opportunity to come up to get the fight against Jamie Munger.
What do you reckon, Spencer?
Jarrett Hurd is very, very good. You know, his last couple of performances, he's impressed me. And he's a guy that can actually grind it out, you know what I mean, against Lara. He probably had to bite down on his gumshoe to push out on the last 3 rounds. Good fighter. But I do like Charlo for the simple fact that he's the more exciting of the bunch. He's the most exciting. And he looks to knock you out. And that is... Yeah. When you see a man get rendered unconscious, like he does this constantly, it's not a fluke. He can really punch, but he's also got boxing ability. So I would say that he's actually the best of the bunch.
OK, moving on. Right, James Crosby has asked, I like this one. Who is the most talented fighter in the Sims gym?
Oh, your pressure! Yeah, can you feel the stress?
He's going to say me.
You know what? I'll be totally honest with you.
Yeah, no, we want you to lie to us.
About 12 and I hadn't had my first amateur fight, I watched Martin Ward in NACYPs in Southampton, and he boxed, I can't remember who boxed, but I watched him a few rounds because I was following a couple of the boys who was in it from my gym, and I hadn't actually had a bout by then, but I was a proper fan of boxing. And I used to like his technical style, and he was so skillful, and he used to roll, and every time they come in, he used to catch him with a counter left hook. And I've always liked his style, and I've seen a lot of times when he's in the gym, he does go up a little bit of weight out of camp, but he gets in there with light welters and lightweights, and he has good spars all the time. And I think Martin Ward probably the most technical fighter.
Who's the hardest working?
We all work hard. I think that's the
Burns,
thing.
Isn't it?
Ricky Burns is probably the hardest working, but the thing is Ricky is a different training to a lot of us, because where he's more of an old school fighter, his one ain't so much science to it, it's just keep grinding. You know what I mean? Like, now, the way
so
it is...
He's the less non-scientific at you guys.
Yeah,
you said it, I didn't say it, I'm just saying you heard it, right?
Not that he's non-scientific, but
that's what you said.
He's like...
He grafts.
Yeah, he grafts, and he's like an old school type fighter who just keeps training hard. There's no, like, whether it's up, down, hard, slow, it's just one continuous, hard pace.
Okay. James Atkins says, are you going to be fighting in America on DAZN anytime soon? We've been talking about this, haven't we? What do you reckon?
Do you know what? I thought that I was going to fight Byfield October the 27th. Scott Fitzgerald and Fowler were going to fight in October, and then hopefully the winners of each fight in December. But by the sound of it, the fight with Fowler and Fitzgerald ain't going to happen so quick. So if I come through victorious in October, I wouldn't mind a good little fight in December or something in America if there was a possibility.
So that's something you feel like you want to tick off?
Yeah, it'd be nice
sooner.
to kind of fight out in America, yeah. And to be honest, I like to keep busy, so it'd be nice to stay straight in camp after this fight and then get another fight in December.
Who would you like to see him fight in the States?
In the States? Do you know what? Just for him to have a debut out in the States would be enough. I know what he brings. He's very... he's authentic to the old school of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I look when Ted... And next thing, people don't give Ted enough credit for his boxing ability. I've known Ted since he's been 13 years old. I remember just going down to Fisher and seeing him spar.
You're showing your age now.
Right, I am showing my age, but the grades are in there, so I can't hide it anymore, right? And I remember seeing him spar, and I swear to God, the movement that he's got, and he's got a very scientific brain. He's not been given enough credit for it, and that's because unfortunately, he hasn't used it yet. But now you've got Asinia Byfield coming up, you're going to have to use it. So if he goes out to America, anybody who he does, because his style's fan-friendly, but he's also got a brain, so that's going to mean that if you use your brain, you're going to get longevity in the sport.
Yeah.
Okay, final one from Mark Farrell, who says, it's about the heavyweight division, who will be the king of the heavyweight division at the end of 2019?
I think Joshua will clear up still, because I think Fury's taking this fight too early with Deontay Wilder if it happens. Fury's my favourite out of a lot of them. Technically, I think he's very good. He ain't just a banger. Joshua is ferocious and he can knock most people out, but I think it'd be a very awkward fight for Joshua if Fury turned up when he fought Klitschko. But when you've been out of the boxing game for how many years or whatever, Fury had out on the party and drinking, whatever, do you know what I mean? It's hard to come back and be that same fighter so quick. So I think you need to give yourself a bit more time, and then everyone will see the true result if they did fight.
What's your thinking? Same as Ted, or?
No, it's not actually. I think, and people are going to think, what are you talking about? I'm telling you that Dillian Whyte is going to surprise a lot of people. And the reason why
I thought you might say him.
I'm going to say, right, did you?
I did, yeah.
Energy, you see?
Yeah.
Right? And the reason why, because I'm seeing a young man constantly improving and learning. There's a difference where it's like...
And also the confidence he'll take from the
Parker fight.
Yeah.
Come on, you imagine, you got knocked down and you still had your wits around you to hold and sneak out for the bell to go. That, to me, is showing ring generalship and experience. The fact that you double jab, and a lot of these heavyweights don't jab, but apart from Tyson Fury, they do not double jab. And not only that, but the thing that he does this catch counter. He catches a shot and throws back a shot, and he's always doing it from a high guard and not a low guard. I believe that Dillian Whyte could shock a lot of people. It's easy to pick Joshua.
Yeah, and when he fought Joshua, he never really knew how to train for a 12-round fight.
I saw the Dillian Whyte who turned up for that fight looked like he was gonna do a bra commercial, right? So I'm just being realistic. Yeah. And now to see him now in shape, I'm telling you now, do not write off Dillian Whyte. He has impressed me because he's constantly improving. Joshua. Not saying that he's regressed, but Anthony Joshua's now fighting fights, being more business savvy. So I'd like to make this, if I could really answer this question, after I see
the rematch to happen.
Of course I want the rematch is going to happen. I want the rematch to happen for the simple fact that it'd be great for boxing, but we're going to see, because Anthony Joshua is something special. But I'm seeing a man learning, and he's constantly learning, and he's doing his due diligence. Dillian Whyte could be the man, and it sounds crazy, but he could be the man to be heavyweight champion and be the king of the hill at the end of 2019. And
on that note, that's all we have time for. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us, Ted. You will be joining Spencer and Ross on the podcast, so make sure you download that on iTunes. But best of luck on October the 27th.
Cheers, thanks a lot.